You're listening to 101 with Tommie Zam. On the 59th episode, we sit down with Cam Wyatt from Kasador talking about music and life. Let's do this. Hey, what's up, Cam? How you doing?
Hey, Tommy, thanks for having me. I'm good. How are you doing?
About to have a little sip of this Flying Embers mojito cocktail-inspired drink here a little bit,
Very nice. I wish I had one of those right now.
Oh, what are you drinking?
I'm just drinking some tea. Didn't know what the vibe was gonna be, so I'm just chilling my place here. I'm
Oh,
sipping,
okay. Oh,
looking
what
at
kind of tea?
looking out the window. It's an Earl Grey, I think.
Oh, Earl
It's got
Grey.
a little variety pack.
Oh, you got one of the variety pack ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always do the green tea one, Earl Grey green tea. I think they do that one.
Oh, that sounds good. There's this tea place close to my house, and they have like mostly like Asian like loose leaf stuff. Been
Ooh,
experimenting with a bunch of those. Pretty damn good. But they're like super caffeinated, a lot of those ones, so it'll get you pretty juiced up on caffeine. Let's just say.
oh,
Don't
okay.
drink before bed.
Don't drink before bed because you'd be wired up to like 9 in the morning.
I still do it, but I wouldn't recommend.
So, are you more a coffee drinker or a tea drinker?
I would say I'm more of a tea drinker, but I do enjoy coffee. I do enjoy it.
Mhm.
Coffee makes me like feel a little bit worse, but I just like I don't know. Tea is both my like grandparents like on both sides are like from England, so I
Mhm.
was just raised on tea all the time, and now I think I just do it like unconsciously.
Yeah, I'm more. I mean, I'll drink coffee, but I prefer more tea. Because
Yeah, yeah,
so I'm the same way as you. I was more raised by my parents and grandparents and stuff like that, drinking more tea than coffee. And then when I went to visit with my ex many years ago to South Africa, that's where she was from. I
oh
got
nice.
introduced to Road Boys, and it's like
Oh yeah, like ROOIB, like Rubo or something. Yeah, Ruboys,
yeah, it's
right?
like it was like the
Red.
real South, yeah, something like that. And it's like the South African tea, like the real, not the ones you buy over. I don't know what you buy over there, but like over here, America, they got this fake Road Boy stuff, American
Oh yeah,
rise.
that's
This is
so
like,
good.
yeah, this is
The
that real.
authentic stuff, man.
Yeah, this is that real shit, dude. That like you'd be like,
Sounds good.
whoa, you know.
Yeah.
Well, cool, Cam. Well, so some of the people don't know who you are. Just tell us a small like bio about you.
So I'm from Canada. Was born in Ottawa, which is capital. It's kind of like 6 hours north of New York City for those who don't really know. And yeah, I've been doing music for a while. I have my own band. We just released a new album. We're kind of getting ramped up to go, I don't know, tour around the world, hopefully. And then I also do a lot of session guitar playing stuff. So I play for different pop singers, and like, I was just in Asia for a month. We did Eastern Europe. Was touring with One Republic. We like opened for Maroon 5 a bit. I was just down in California for a while. And I do a lot of other stuff. Like I do a bit of teaching on the side. I've been writing jingles. I do some voiceover work randomly. Just a whole bunch of like really random stuff. But I would say I'm just a full time musician at this point, with my main project being my own band, which is Kasador.
Okay, sick. And so what was it like growing up in Ontario? You from Ontario or what
Yeah.
part?
So the province is like the equivalent of like a state. It's called Ontario, and then
Ontario,
the city is called Ottawa. So
Ottawa. Okay.
it was good. Yeah, I like it a lot. I mean, it's pretty chill. I currently live in a city like close there. It's like in between Toronto, if you've heard of that, and Ottawa. It's all
Yeah,
kind of in the same area. Like most of Canada lives in like one part of Ontario, southern Ontario, really.
hmm
But yeah, it was good. Yeah, like I don't know. I really have no complaints like at all. It was really chill growing up. And it's like I find the music scene, especially in Canada, is very supportive. Like a lot of the radio stations, like they have to play 60% Canadian music. They there's a lot of grants that help you record and everything. Even like there's like touring support. There's a whole bunch of things that kind of like boost the arts world that I find, because we did a lot of touring through the states, and I would you just kind of touring with other kind of like indie bands,
hmm
and it always seemed kind of surprised to hear that there's a lot of like money available to kind of make it happen here, which is nice. It's definitely a
That's,
beautiful it's a beautiful thing.
that's pretty rad. And you said Iowa. So doesn't Iowa have a hockey team?
Oh, that's
Or
a hockey team. Yeah, the Ottawa Senators. Yeah, they actually just got put up for sale.
what?
Yeah,
Why?
because the owner died, and it
Oh
went to
shit.
his. He has two daughters. They're like 20ish, and then
Hmm.
Ryan Reynolds was actually going to buy the team, and then Snoop Dogg put in a bill with this or a bid with this guy Nico Sparks. I think he's like
Oh,
a
I know Nico
crypto
Sparks.
dude. Yeah, I don't know a ton about him, but Snoop Dogg and Nico Sparks are trying to buy the team as well. And there was
No
like, there's been,
way. Hold on,
yeah,
hold on, hold on. Snoop Dogg's gonna be no way.
yeah. So he put on like, yeah. So the team is called the Ottawa Senators, and he like put on a jersey, and he was like, I want to bring, because there have been no like, I guess, like black owners
Hmm.
of any hockey team before, so they'd be the first, like, I guess, like black ownership group, which would be sick.
That would
Um,
be rad.
so that was kind of their whole thing, and then they wanted to bring in, like, more of the indigenous population of Canada as well, kind of into it. So that part would have been sick. I think I don't think their bid went through, but it was like a very real thing for a while. It was like him
Wow.
versus like Ryan Reynolds, and then a bunch of other like billionaires, basically.
So who's gonna get it?
I feel like they've both bowed out, and I think like as of yesterday, like a billionaire guy got it.
No
But I
way.
think it's still in the process of being finalized, but it's looking like it's I think his name is like Ann Blower. I don't know what his name is, but he's not like a celebrity or anything.
Dude, that's crazy. How rad would it have been Snoop Dogg
I
own
know. That would have been
the whole
sick.
the whole the whole stadium would smell like
I
weed.
know. Like actually though, you probably legalize it inside in that arena or something. Because
Dude, they would.
they're gonna build a new arena, hopefully too, in like the
Uh-huh.
downtown core. So I feel like he would have had a part of that as well, but missed opportunity.
Dude, that would have been rad, dude.
Yeah, that would have been
Especially
tight.
Ryan Reynolds would be cool too, but Snoop Dogg, that would be dope, dude.
Yeah, it would be sick. Yeah, I mean, no
That would
other
be sick.
team would even be close to that.
No, no, everybody want to be a Senator fan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it would put them on the map for sure.
Oh hell yeah! Well, so you're a big hockey fan yourself, or
I do like hockey a lot. Yeah, I grew up playing hockey. Like everyone, not pretty much everyone plays hockey growing up, and like everyone, not, I mean, everyone is a strong term, but it's like in general very popular.
it's it's
And like
it's 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 like it's in your blood. It's in you guys' blood to
it
play
is,
hockey.
it's in your blood. And there's like they call it like there's outdoor rinks everywhere in the winter because it snows. It's like really cold here in the winter. I'm called like ODR, like outdoor rinks, and people hit that up all the time. And there's like pickup games everywhere. And then anytime like a Canadian team is in the playoffs, it's like a really big deal as well. So.
So it doesn't
Um,
matter what Canadian team is. It's all
It
Canadian.
does matter. Like, I think a lot of people, root for like a Canadian team when their team is out, but in general, people are pretty diehard about their team. Like the Toronto team is pretty like people
The
really like that
Raptors.
team.
That's the Raptors, right?
That's basketball. It's Toronto
Oh,
Maple Leafs is the
Maple
hockey
Leafs.
team,
That's right.
but the Toronto Raptors are the basketball team.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry,
That's
I
more
got it
Drake's
confused.
thing. Drake is like the guy.
Drake owns that one.
He doesn't own it, but I think they've given it. I think he's like brand ambassador. He's like at a bunch of the games. He's always like on the floor, like chirping people and stuff.
Well,
But
that's cool, dude.
yeah, because he's from
Well,
Toronto.
I don't want to tell you what my team is. You're probably like, oh god.
Who's your team?
I'm a Penguins fan.
Okay, that's fine. I don't really mind that. The GM, like the general manager of Toronto, just signed with the Penguins, so they're
Yeah, I
gonna
saw
get
that. I was happy with that, dude. I
something
was like,
big's gonna
yes.
happen probably. Are you
Well,
from San Diego, or like where are you actually from?
I'm originally from Florida. So I'm originally from Pensacola, Florida. Then after high school, 95, a little after high school, 95, 96, I took off and moved to San Diego. But all my family's from Pittsburgh area. So I'm like a diehard
Okay,
Steelers, diehard
yeah,
Penguins fan, and somewhat of a diehard Pirates fan. I don't really claim that one, but
yeah.
but definitely a diehard Penguins fan, and I was kind of happy they fired everybody.
Yeah.
And
I feel like they're in it's rebuild time for them.
oh, we have to. I mean, we
Yeah,
but no, definitely. I know I love Canadian hockey, man, because you guys like take it so
yeah.
serious.
People get so angry when like if anytime something in a game like a bad call is made, like everyone is just talking about it. Like literally, like all the restaurants are just like freaking out about like refs who missed calls, and like it's a big deal for sure. Like,
Uh, Do y'all ever like have rivals with the other like Toronto or
oh yeah, for sure. Like Toronto and
other team?
Ottawa are pretty big rivals. Ottawa or Toronto and Montreal, pretty big rivals. There's also like Alberta is a province in Canada, and there's two teams from that same province. So it's Edmonton and Calgary. So they're also There's a lot of rivalries. Yeah, everyone's
That's
just trying to
crazy.
beat everyone else up. It's like one of the only it's one of the only like sports that has like fighting as like a legitimate part of the game. Like literally fist fight. You like have to drop your gloves. It's actually a penalty if you don't drop your gloves.
Are you
Or like
serious?
if you like fight, like if you enter a fight, like you have to drop your gloves. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. I mean, I like hockey just because it's a fun pace,
Yeah, it is a fun
and
place. Yeah.
and some of the rules I'm like, what, but I mean, like whatever. But I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
also too, the fighting is crazy too, and it's just, I don't know, it's just the energy of it is just it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's really fast paced and physical, and also
Yeah,
like a lot of like skill expression as well. Like you can beat someone up, but you also have to be really good at the game. Like it's not just physical, or it's not just like a skill expression. It's a good blend of everything, I think.
and plus too, you got to be good on those skates because think about it, you're going backwards and forwards and left and
Yeah,
right, and then especially if
yeah,
you're fighting with somebody, you got to be on those skates, like.
yeah. It's like because I mean, it's not only like all like fighting, whatever, but like there's like people throwing checks all the time, and it's like it is really physical. Plus, like you're on a slippery surface, so you got to be good on skates too.
I just hope they don't ever change it like they did with football and NBA.
Yeah, I feel like those have been like they get watered down with every year, kind of.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, enough about sports.
Yeah,
I know we could talk about that all day.
yeah. I love sports, man.
Oh, I did too. But so what got you into music? Like your parents, your are they musicians? Did they jam out to like some kind of music? Like you heard them playing music or what?
Yeah. I mean, they're not really like musicians, I guess. They're more like music fans. So music was playing all the time growing up in the house. Like my mom played piano, my dad would play guitar, and he just like he's more of like an audiophile, I guess. My dad, like he would always just be buying speakers and like cranking them throughout the house, and just we would just find new music and like get records and stuff, and just like literally sit down and just listen to music super loud and like crazy speakers that he would find, and just kind
Uh-huh.
of always trying to find the best like hi-fi sound around. So that kind of got me into it, and then it became a thing at my school when I was in like grade 6. They introduced, I think it was like pretty much a mandatory music program, and I started playing trumpet because I don't know, it was just kind of good. Like they run you through all the instruments, and it just kind of clicked with me. And then I grew up just really liking bands. Like I thought, the movie School of Rock.
Yes.
That movie like changed my whole life. I remember seeing that and be like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And then I just wanted to just like I love the lifestyle about it. I love the sound of like guitars and like just rock music in general. And I just wanted to be part of it. So I started playing bass, and then I started playing guitar. I took vocal lessons, and I just want to like fully immerse myself in the whole thing. And so I guess it kind of started from like a young age being exposed to it, and then starting through it in school, and just wanting to be in a band and just like
Mhm.
being in front of people playing stuff. Because I also really liked acting as well. Like drama was a like or just like being, I don't know. I also I wanted to be an actor as well when I was like really young, like grade 4 or
Really?
5. Yeah, that ship has sailed. I do like it, but it's I don't know, something about it is um but yeah,
Can you
plus also like you're on stage, and like you're not necessarily acting, but it's like you're still performing, and like
Mhm.
you're providing entertainment, I guess.
No, you're definitely, I mean, think about it. You are acting. I mean, you are playing music, but
Yeah,
you're playing this, these people see you on stage and you're kind of like, all right, man, I gotta get focused here. People gonna
yeah,
know who
yeah.
I you know.
Because you also like you got to ham up kind of like parts of yourself that like when I walk around, or if I'm just hanging out with my friends, like I'm not really as like animated or like whatever, like as like juiced up as I am like when I'm on stage trying to provide entertainment, or like I'm not jumping around, and like you are like you do elevate to a certain level, and I guess you could call that acting, like
Yeah.
you're trying to portray a character on stage. It's not quite the same as like being on a TV show or something, but it still is. There are elements that are the same for sure.
I know it is definitely because I mean, think about it. Every day, well, prime example, look at Kiss. Every day they got to put that makeup on,
Yeah,
get on stage, and act. Same
yeah,
with
for
Guar.
sure.
I mean, look at Guar.
Yeah,
Guar's the
yeah,
same way too.
yeah. Because I mean that's a whole bit too,
Yeah,
and it's like part of their brand identity. It's like the way that they look and the way that they act.
and it's the same with you and your bands. I mean, you guys got to like, okay, we gotta pump up. We gotta show this crowd what we gotta do, and this is who we are.
Exactly. Yeah. Plus,
And
also like Sorry, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, I was gonna say, as you know, they meet you in the coffee shop and like, oh, you're not the same Cam on we saw on stage.
Yeah, exactly. Because I find also like now that we just kind of we were a band before, and then we kind of took like a big break because the pandemic like closed down, like especially in Canada, like literally everything was just donezo. Like you
You
couldn't
guys just
barely.
you guys just opened up this year, wasn't it, or last year?
I don't even, honestly, time has become a really hard track for me at this point, but I think it was like a year and a half ago or something. I don't even remember. I think it was like a year or two ago
Yeah.
though. But yeah, like everything was closed down. Like you couldn't even really go outside, for like basically a year or two. And which also meant like there's no live music, like there's no whatever. So the old lead singer of the band left. The band basically not necessarily broke up, but like there was no shows happening. There was nothing going on. And we just kind of took the time to like rewrite and like kind of rebrand everything. And basically, like we still have the same name, but we're kind of like a new whole thing now, like different members and whatever. So I kind of feels like this is the start of a new thing for us.
Hmm.
Anyway, I'm tying this all into saying that like now that we're kind of feels like a new band, you would go on tour, or what we do now is we would go on tour with other bands, slightly bigger bands. That let's say that they have a crowd of like 500 people
Hmm.
at like a theater, club, whatever, and we're the opening band. No one's heard of us, but you want to be able to get up on stage and you want to try to basically it sounds kind of like shitty, but like you want to poach their fans or not like corrupt their fans to like you, but like they're like undecided voters, and like within 10 less 5 minutes, they're basically going to decide if they like you or not. And every night you're in front of a bunch of people that have no idea who you are, and you have to go convince them to like you, because
Yeah.
they're not there to see you. They're there to see their favorite band, and they don't know any of your songs. They don't know who they are, and they're just waiting to see someone else. You know, so you have to kind of like it's tough, but the goal is basically to convince them to like you, more or less, and you have to you got to act it up a bit. You got to kind of ham it up to see you know to get a reaction out of them, to get them to feel something. Um, so in
No,
that way, yeah, you gotta put it on for sure.
yeah, you definitely got to actor. You got to be an actor for that because have you ever had a chance? Have you ever been to a show where you you guys didn't win the audience over?
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. Oh my god. Okay, so there's this
Take me back to
band.
that day.
There's this band. I don't even watch. I guess I can name it. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I
Who
have
cares?
nothing against this band. They're just not like the same demographic. Because certain like certain bands type of music have like a certain type of people that like that kind of music.
Hmm.
And we play for this one band. They're called. Oh, maybe I shouldn't name them. Whatever. They're more like older, angry like white guys. They're probably like 55, 60, and their whole thing is like fuck you guys, like I'll do whatever the fuck I want, like really like intense, like
Are they like this?
I'm like
Are they
angry
like
at the world,
are they
like
like this? Rah, 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 like that
yeah,
or
like they just have like big gray beards, and they're just like they just hate everything. I don't know, whatever. And like I'm more of like
drinking my tea,
I'm like a
relaxing?
young gun, like whatever, and like I like to just talk about like like sports and like how I feel, like whatever, just like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just not really the same thing. And like we get up there and we're just like playing our songs, and you just like look out and see them just so fucking angry. Like they're just absolutely hate it. I literally thought I was gonna get a bottle. We played in Buffalo actually.
Oh
At this
shit! You didn't get a
the
bottle?
ball. I know. It was at the ballroom, the Bowery. No, not Bowery. Buffalo Ballroom. I'm not really sure. Anyway, but there's probably like 1,000 people there, and like literally everyone there was just visibly upset with us. Like I was actually afraid that I was gonna get like assaulted.
And then you hear that one person clapping.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and there's one guy. Yeah, we like finished up. There's one guy in the back who's like, our friend who drove in from Toronto or whatever. But yeah,
And,
so
and,
there are a few like that where it's like there's just not a ton you can do, but
and what do
you
you
try.
do? What do you do when you don't get the reaction from the crowd?
Like really, all that you can do is like you're not gonna leave the stage, like unless they literally start throwing bottles at you. You're not gonna leave the stage. You're just gonna go up there and like you just put in as best you can, and whoever will like it will, and whoever won't. And that's just kind of how like that's just kind of in general. Like when you go up on stage at any time, like you have no idea what anyone's going to feel about it. And all you can do is just put your best foot forward and see who's going to vibe with it. It's not always easy, and you won't always, feel great about it, but that's kind of how like you have to go into it. Um,
Have you
yeah.
guys ever got stuff thrown at you guys anytime?
Nice. I don't recall ever getting stuff like thrown. No, I don't think so.
All right, good. No bottles.
Yeah, no, but I mean,
Only on
generally
that.
people are nice. Like for the most part, people are really supportive. And if someone like really hates it, they probably just like won't talk to you.
But
Like
I mean,
usually the people come on stage like, oh, like you did a great job, or they'll buy a shirt or something. If someone really doesn't like it, they're probably not going to come up and tell me that they hated it. Usually, at least, or like throw something at me. But it's not impossible.
that's kind of nerve wracking. I mean, to think about it. I mean, you're playing in front of 1,000 people, and all you hear is crickets, and all you guys are like, "Shit, we just got to keep on playing and hopefully win
Yeah,
over these people."
it's not a great feeling. Also, like one of the most awkward things is when you're done and it's like silent. So you
Hmm.
kind of like that's why you gotta not always, but make transitions between songs. Like you hit a note on one, like da, 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 ga, the chord rings out, and then boom, you start the next one because it's the same chord of like the first or the first chord of the next song. Stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I feel like I'm also harping on kind of bad shows here. I mean, mostly like most of the time that doesn't happen, and like it's good. Like, but sometimes you do get paired up with people, especially as like an opening band for something, with people that or with I guess a band whose like fans are not super aligned with
Mm. Is that
what you.
that's the tough part is whenever people try to book you guys, they try to like line you up with the wrong type of people.
Yeah, yeah. It hasn't happened that much, like kind of since we've started, but every once in a while it would happen. Or like if you, it's like if you were a folk band and you open up for a metal band. It's like no one wants to hear that. That's there. It's not quite that extreme, but it's like that kind of idea.
No, that is pretty extreme, dude. Folk
Yeah,
band
yeah,
and metal band and they're all happy, love each other, and they're like,
yeah, and
it's like,
exactly,
oh,
yeah,
they'll be like, what the hell? That's
yeah,
crazy. So go back a little bit. So you grew up in a house with your parents, loving music. Your dad buying, speakers and playing as loud music he can play and stuff like that.
yeah.
What kind of music were they playing? Was it like some 70s rock, or was it like
It was a
Phil
mix of
Collins?
everything. Yeah, like kind of like I find with people who I find that there's certain people who like a type of music, and there's certain people who just like kind of like the concept of music and can just get into anything. Like we listen to a whole bunch of stuff, like rock or like jazz, bluesy stuff. Like we listen to some old school hip hop. Sometimes we listen to some country every once in a while. Not a huge country guy, but just kind of like a mix of everything. But when
Mhm.
I went through a whole bunch of different stages, or even like I was really into the trumpet, so we would buy like like this guy named Herb Albert. He has like a Tijuana brass band that we'd listen to that kind of stuff, or like
What?
or
That's
even
right.
something like just like kind of regular, I guess you might call it like John Mayer or stuff like that, where it's just kind of or more guitar focused music like Eric Clapton, stuff like that, or just kind of classic rock or different instrumental stuff. I don't
That's
even
right.
think. Yeah, like just kind of really a mix of everything. Like I find with a whole bunch of songs, there's just something about it that can speak to me. It's not necessarily about a genre, but it's like maybe a way that they sang it, or like a type of guitar tone or a part, or just like the way that it feels for one reason or another. You can find
Mhm.
something that you can kind of latch onto. Um, so yeah, just really a whole mix of stuff. It was very really eclectic.
That's right. And so your parents very supportive of of your music and everything.
Yeah, they've generally been really supportive. It's nice because I have an older brother and a younger sister, and they are both they also really like music, but they're both in like more like legitimate lines of work. Like they have a job that actually pays them like on time, and have a salary and stuff. And my brother just had a kid, so most of the weight is off of me to do like to have a kid or to make a
Get
whole bunch of
married.
money, yeah, get married, all this stuff, because my sister also just got engaged, my brother's married, they all have good jobs, and I'm just kind of here doing my thing.
You're
So
just you're just a rock star of the family.
yeah, I always tell them like I provide intangibles to the family.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I'm more of the intangibles guy. I can't pay for dinner, but you
But
know,
I'll entertain you for free.
yeah, but I'll entertain you guys for free. Yeah.
That's
Um,
right, dude. That's right. That's right to have your family support you, and stuff
yeah,
like that.
it's been really, really nice. Yeah. It's definitely I feel very fortunate about that.
Do you remember your first time ever playing in a band? Like, did you always play in a band, or did you start off with like at school projects and stuff like that?
Yeah, I started off in school. Yeah, it was like when I played the trumpet first. I would just join like, the brass band or whatever. It was kind of like it's all just about learning like how to not necessarily like fit into a group, but like when you play music with other people, like if you're all playing different songs, it's not going to sound good. Like you all kind of have to buy into the fact that like you're doing the same thing. So, and just kind of getting on the same wavelength as people around you and being able to play like the part that you're supposed to play is kind of one of the first hurdles to playing it in a group. So I learned that within school and trumpet and stuff. And then I remember I got a bass. I joined a band as a bass player and like kind of like just in Ottawa, like a local kind of like rock band thing. And then there was it was through a music school. So we had like a mentor guy as well.
Mhm.
So he would kind of like help us, figure out parts and stuff. So that was really helpful. And then moved to guitar and then started my own bands all over the place.
That's cool. And did you play in like school projects and stuff, or what?
Yeah, so I had a band in high school. Yeah, that's all in Ottawa. Yeah. Yeah, and we just kind of like honestly like learned how to play music and like just jam. Like we just played shows all over the place, bunch of different bars around town, or like just anything really. Like if our friends were having a party, we could go and do a set there or something, or like
Really?
just at school, or yeah, it was pretty dope.
So
Um,
house parties, huh? How was that, dude?
House parties are cool. We've played a couple, like a bunch of those actually. It's usually pretty good because people are like, it's not like at at a bar. There's a lot. It's more what's the word I'm looking for? Not like there's more rules, but it's like
I know
you
what you
know,
mean.
it's like
It's like
there's like a
you
bouncer
can't
and
do
like there's
this.
a stage, yeah, and whatever. But like at a house party, it's like you're kind of like you're all there at the party, and you're just also playing music, and you can like stop and start whenever, and like it's just more chill. But people do go a little bit buck wild though. Like
House parties?
we got some stuff. We got some of our stuff spray painted, which wasn't great.
No
Like
way.
a bunch of our cases, yeah. It's
What's the
not
most
ideal.
what's the most craziest house party that you played at?
It was probably that one. That one was like insane. Everyone was just absolutely blitzed out of their mind, and there was like, man, there was basically people like having sex more or less in front of us,
No
like on
way.
this couch
Seriously?
as we were like jamming, and everyone was just completely blitzed, like like they're going into like the windows upstairs. And
What?
then yeah, like someone spray painted our gear that was like upstairs as well. And it was like people were just like not there was like a stage, there was like a stage area, people were just like coming up, and it was crazy.
Dude, hold on.
That was a while ago though.
Hold on. People were having sex on the couch in front of you guys?
Yeah, it was more like they were like, well, this one guy was, this one guy was just basically like like finger blasting this girl. And it was, they were like, oh, but like you just had to keep going.
What you guys had to do? I mean, where you're like, did you
Yeah,
like
we're like,
pause for a quick second? Like, wait, okay, let's keep on
it's
going,
one
or
of those
what?
like because you're trying to focus on like just playing because you have to I don't know like you want to play well and then like you kind of all notice it so we all kind of give each other the eye like what is going it takes a second to like really realize what you're looking at and you're just like okay this
Dude,
is where we're at.
this is fucking hilarious, dude.
Yeah,
I
there's
just
a lot of like crazy stuff.
yeah, and also too when you think about it, all even playing at what to me what I see is playing at house parties, and then playing at bars, and then playing at venues where it's hard to get like a certain crowd of people, and depends on who you're with. I mean, it's all learning experience.
Yeah, oh, it is. Yeah, it's like every time you play. Well, it's kind of one of the reasons I like it is like there's no ceiling. Like no one day is kind of like exactly the same. There's a lot of consistent things like you load in sound check, play a show, whatever, like stuff like that. But every time something is a little bit different, and it's always like you meet usually cool people, and it's just like it's never really boring. Like I find myself a very few boring days. They're not
No,
always great, but they're not always they're rarely boring.
That's right. I mean, that's right to have that kind of experience because think about it. Like I said, it builds you guys up. You know, you have a house party, some dude finger banging some chick, and all the shit going on, and then when you get to the real world of your music and playing tours and stuff, you're like, yo, we already seen everything. We build ourselves so strong that none of this shit can affect us. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. It's also, yeah, it's one of those like you just get, it's just you build, yeah, exactly. You build experience every time. And that reminds me, I was at, we played a show also in Ottawa at this, it was a random like restaurant and it's like a bar restaurant. And I was playing in a cover band and it was at the end of that, it was like a super weird vibe. Like we would play, the band I was in was like we played like covers of like Stevie Wonder. It was like kind of like a dancey band like that, whatever, with like trumpets and like there's a horn section and stuff. And
Hmm.
then in between a DJ would come by and he would basically play like club beats. It was super random. And then it was at the end of the night, we were playing our last set. It was like 1 in the morning. And we're playing, the song like Soul Man by the Blues Brothers. You never heard of that
Hmm.
song?
Yeah, I heard that song
And we're just like jamming on that song, like I'm a soul man. And then this brawl breaks out, like literally like a 20-person brawl, like right in front of us
in the
on the
restaurant.
dance floor. Yeah. Like so it was basically the stage and then kind of like a dance floor area. Full on brawl. And we're just like, yeah, we just kept going. We're just singing the Blues Brothers, people just beating the shit out of each other right in front of us.
Holy shit! Was
Yeah.
it because of the song, or was it, or they just
No,
kind
I
of
think it was like nothing really to do with us. It was just like some guy, did
being an
something
idiot?
to someone. I don't know, whatever.
I thought it was a song. Like you sang that song,
No.
and
Well, I
that
guess,
song, they all
they,
wanted to bang each other out.
yeah, something like that.
That's crazy, dude. That's definitely crazy, man. And and so like one of the questions I want to ask you is, and I think it's crazy you mentioned because I've done a lot of interviews. I have done a lot of interviews with a lot of Canadian musicians and stuff, and they said the exact same thing, is that and Canada's government, they take care of you guys, musicians and art
Oh yeah.
people and stuff like that. And I think that's
Like
pretty rad.
it is sick. Like not to really talk too many numbers, but like you can apply for grants, you can get like 100K
Wow.
of funding for, it's not that easy to get, but there's tons of things. Like there's so many grants to apply for. Even like a couple of weeks ago or like a couple months ago, there's like, a Canadian music relief fund that you can apply and they just give you like $2,000. And
What?
yeah.
That's
And
crazy.
there's a lot of things. It is very nice. Because like one of the tough things is like competing with the I think the mindset of a lot of like Canadian like arts funding is it's really tough to compete with the American market because there's just so many more people and it's so
Hmm.
close and like similar, the type of music that's popular in the States is very similar to like the main types of music that are popular in Canada as well. And I think, they don't want to be I drowned out maybe like a bit of a pessimistic way to look at it, but like they want to like promote talent so it's not like kind of get like run over by other markets. So I think that's why they provide a lot of funding because they want, the Canadian acts to feel like they can stand up to the rest of the world, I guess.
That's
So
pretty
it
rad
is really helpful. Yeah, it's really dope. Like
because I don't hear
it's like a
anything.
life saving amount of money.
Because I don't hear anything like that over here in America. That'd be
Yeah,
rad if they did that too. That would help a lot of starving musicians or hustling musicians out there that are trying to sell their albums or tapes on the street and whatever they can do.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's really because also like recording, like studio time, the amount of money that goes into it because there's studio time, there's getting it mixed, getting it mastered. There's if you want artwork, you have to pay for that. Then if you want to put CDs out, that's also expensive or vinyl. Just the whole process, or the getting it on Spotify, promoting it, and then even playing shows. You need a car, you need to pay for gas, you have to have all the gear as well. Like my whole rig is probably like $10,000 of pedals and guitars and amps and stuff. And
Hmm.
that's kind of like, it's not necessary to spend that much. Like you can do it, but if you want to be able to, have gear that's reliable and be able to get there and whatever, it's expensive. Like there's a lot of money that goes into it before you even, see a dollar back,
Yeah, and then it's rad to how that what I get from you and from other Canadian musicians is that Canada wants to promote their own music. You know what I mean? Wants to their own musicians, their own actors, and stuff like that, and everything. So
Yeah.
I think it's pretty rad they do that.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome because there's also there's like a whole bunch of things that you can one apply for just funding, but there's it's called like MAPL, like Maple whatever, Canada, you know. And
Uh-huh.
it's like
I
music
like
artists.
that one. Maple.
Yeah. Music artist, producer, lyrics, and I think it's some like 3 of the 4 of those have to be Canadian, and then it's considered CanCon or like Canadian content, and
Uh-huh.
then it basically qualifies you for a whole bunch more stuff like radio play, um, getting like syncs on like television shows, stuff like that. Um, like we had a song talking about sports. We had a song like Hockey Night in Canada is like a pretty big deal. It's like I don't know whenever the Canadian teams play, it's like a whole kind of broadcasting. And then they
Mhm.
use one of our songs for like a montage for a playoff game or whatever.
What?
It was like the best day of my life. Yeah, it was like
What
the
song
coolest
was
thing.
that?
It was called "Giving It Up." It's one of our older songs, but
That's
yeah,
rad,
that was
dude.
for like 3 years ago. Yeah, it was sick. Anyway, but stuff like that is it's really good. Also, like if they also pay you for like playing your own songs. Like if you submit your own songs that you play them at a show, you get like royalties for playing your own songs through SOCAN,
What?
which is like the Society of Canadian. Yeah, there is a whole bunch of ways that you can, you know, claw back money. And it's crazy because like I think about it, I have like no money at all. Everything's super expensive. Like we're just barely scraping by,
Mhm.
and it's kind of and we've been super fortunate to have this extra funding. So I have no idea how people do it without, either like a bunch of family wealth or, personal. I don't know. I don't know how it's possible. Like
Yeah,
it's impressive to see that people do that in
yeah,
in the States because it's hard. It's really
yeah,
tough.
and a lot of these people, they work normal jobs and full-time jobs, and they go out and play on a weekend, and
Yeah,
this
exactly.
it's all what it's about. It's about fun and love, and that's what it sounds like what you guys have is a lot of fun and love, and you love playing
Yeah.
music and stuff, and so, you know, you're like, "Fuck, we're broke, but hey, we can still
Yeah.
afford
I
this
mean,
shit."
yeah, it's one of those like, there's on the bad days you kind of think about like, why am I doing this? But then you think like there's just nothing else that I would rather be doing. This is
Mhm.
what I want to do, and it's not going to make me $1 million. Maybe. Hope. I mean, the goal is I someday, it'll provide a stable income, and it has been trending upwards at least recently with a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm doing. Um, but yeah, I mean, like ultimately, you don't do it to get into the hyper wealthy or to have a really stable like you get into it because you love doing it and you love the kind of the expressive you know output that it can have, the effect that it can have on people. It makes it all worthwhile when people say how much your songs had an influence on them, or that they you know started playing guitar, or they one of their bad days got turned around by a concert that we put on or something that we said. That's kind of like that is sort of like the payment, and you know
Yeah.
why you do it.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. And then, let's talk about the band. So, I mean, who's all in the band?
So at the moment, I would say there's 3 members. Like there's 3 kind of core members that are at every show, and then we have a bit of a rotating cast of rhythm guitar players. So it's me. I do vocals and lead guitar. We have a drummer, Steven, and then Boris is a bass player. So
Okay.
there's kind of like the 3 of us, and then we when we play live, for the most part, we have a 4th member.
Okay. And then how did you all three of you guys meet?
We mostly met the drummer. I met just like through the Ottawa music scene, basically, because we play in some other bands together. And music, like the music scenes within not only like Ontario or Canada or just kind of North America, whatever, or the city that you're in, is really not all that big. And once you're in kind of a certain level, like you're going to start meeting people. So that's how I met Steven. And then Boris, I met through school. So we went to university in this city called Kingston, which I currently live in. And
Hmm.
yeah, I just met him through yeah, we went to the same university.
That's rad. And so you guys just joined up and was like, "Yo, we'll do Casador and let's do this shit," you know?
Yeah, it started a little bit like I had this friend whose name was Will, and then we started jamming together, and then I met Boris through him, and then we kind of started playing some songs that he had written, and then eventually we got a keyboard player, and then we started more writing songs, and we wanted to create like a an actual real band. So then we did that, And then it's gone through a bunch of iterations, but it kind of went through the process of like just jamming with friends into becoming a more solidified thing, which is
Yeah.
now what it is. Yeah, what it is now.
Do you feel that like it's hard to build a good band? You know what I mean? Like find good band members, or do you feel like it's easier?
It is it's not hard to find good musicians around the world, but it's hard to find a good band member that's a good fit. Because I mean, ideally, you want someone who is, you know, good at what they do. You want someone who
Mhm.
plays the right instrument that you're looking for. Generally, kind of the same age. They like the kind of music that you are. They live close to you, and also they're available because that's the hardest part. Like if someone's really good, they're probably in like five things already.
Mhm.
Or if someone, is an awesome singer, they probably have their own band. Or if someone, whatever. So finding someone who is the right fit and is actually available and down to do it can be really hard to find. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, and I know what you mean. It's definitely hard because you gotta find the right, right person with the right songs, or who can play the right.
exactly. And you have to like, you spend a lot of time with them. Like you're in the car for hours and hours, and you have to do a lot of. You just spend a lot of time together, so you have to like them. That's what. So I do a lot of that session guitar playing stuff as well.
Mhm.
And when you get hired for that, basically, like as long as you're good enough, you're kind of in the topic for to be considered. And then it really just comes down to like, do they like you as a person? Like, can they hang with you? You know,
Okay.
you hear it a lot where it's like it's all about the hang. Like that's really what gets you the job in these things. Because let's say, well,
Well, say
for
if you're annoying as shit and they're like,
yeah,
"Dude, this
like let's say
yeah."
you're super annoying or you have like a big ego or there's some reason that like someone doesn't like you, like you're just out. And they're gonna. It
Really?
doesn't matter if you're like amazing. They're gonna find someone else who is good and that they like to hang out with.
Wow, so they're very picky on who they have on in
They're
in this
super
session.
picky, yeah. So okay, the crazy thing. So um, there's this pop singer that I've been playing for. She had a really successful song like a year or two ago.
Mhm.
It was like a TikTok viral thing, and has
Oh,
like
yeah.
a couple 100 million streams, whatever. And kind of came out of nowhere. Um, and then so got a management team, got like a major record deal, whatever. And
Hold
she
on real
was
quick. Hold on real quick. So she got a record deal off of TikTok?
Yeah, like multi-million-dollar record deal, yeah.
Holy shit, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, by like Universal or like it's not maybe not Universal, but Warner. It was like one of the major ones. Um, and then so got was getting all these show offers, and had never played a show under the her stage name.
Mhm.
So um, yeah, so she had to find a band, and then looked for different players, and then I came into the conversation through a mutual connection that I had made playing with Kasador, and basically came up, and then there was like a list of like 5 or 10 guitar players, and what they do, it sounds ridiculous because it is they go through your Instagram account, they see
Oh,
what kind of
no.
vibe you put out, and they
What?
just basically select you based off the vibe that you put out through Instagram. It's not a joke, and
Dude, are you
yeah.
serious?
Yeah, I'm fully serious. And then so I got a call from the manager one day, and it's like, "Hey Cam, like love your vibe, man. Like, are you down to come, to the studio for?" Like they call it an audition, which I guess it is, but it's basically like, do they like you in person? So I did that. We jammed, and then I was the only one that was there because I think they kind of already selected me, and it was more just like just to see if I was like, I don't know, they felt that they could hang, and I just got selected, and then boom, like I'm on planes all over the world.
Dude, that's so crazy. Sorry, I got a clown on this.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, not on you, but not you or anything.
No,
But
it's like it's insane. Like I'm not. I'm right there.
I don't want to
Yeah,
get you in trouble, but that's fucking insane. I'm like speechless right now. I don't know what to say. I mean, that's just like, oh, like it's like, oh well, I don't want to date this guy, but I want to check his Instagram out and see what his personality's like. You can't fucking tell on these damn social medias
yeah.
because people fake that shit, and then
I know. Yeah,
you meet them, they're like, oh, you're not the same person.
yeah. It is kind of crazy because it was literally I got the job exclusively. I mean, I think they said like he's a good guy or whatever, but like it was they I'd never met any of them, and it was they go yeah they they had said the manager and her sat down. They go through everyone's Instagram and they select you based off the vibe
What?
of your. if they think you're like cool based off of your Instagram.
So
Yeah.
what are they looking for? Like, oh, is this guy looks like he can party, or this guy seems really sensitive?
I don't I don't actually know like specifically what they look for, but I think I think it's a mix of like I don't even really know, but I think it's a mix of like, you know, do you have experience playing? What do you kind of look like on stage? Like what are the kind of things that you feel like you could post? Like what do you look like? I don't know. Like it's just a combination of everything. And they want so especially I find so with Kasador stuff, because I'm the lead, like the front man.
Mhm.
So when you get up there, it's kind of like I'm trying to not control the audience, but like, you're talking,
You're picking them up.
it's kind of like the eyes are on you to control the flow of the show, and like you're presenting the words and whatever. But
Mhm.
when you're doing the session stuff for another singer, it's like they're the star, and basically everything that you do facilitates them being the star. Like you don't even want to go too crazy, because then everyone's going to look at you and they're not going to look at the star, so like you want, and
Oh.
that's kind of how I think of it as well. It's like it's my job here is to make you look like an absolute star, and how I can facilitate that is like, I come up and like solo in front of you, and then I move to the back and like let you have your moment, and then verse like I'm always at the front, or like just or trying to grab all the attention. It's like you pick your moments, but you basically facilitate them being the star, because that's what you're there for. And
Mhm.
there's like certain, like I will. This is not like, I don't mean this in like a rude way, because it's just part of the thing. But it's like if I'm gonna wear a shirt that they don't like because it's for some reason, then I have to change. Like
Are you
they,
serious?
yeah. Um,
So you can't wear your own band name or anything?
like that, I could wear. I could bet I could wear that, but like, if the color doesn't match like what they want to wear, then I would have to change. Or something like that.
That's why you're like, come on, band, come on, guys, let's get back on the tour. Let's go. Let's wear whatever the fuck we want to wear, dude.
Yeah, like I don't like really mind it, because it's kind of like, that's what you're there for. And that's the other thing as well. Like if you have too much of an ego that you won't do that, then you don't have a job, and then you're not there. Like it's
Wow,
kind of,
they're
yeah.
strict, huh?
It's ish, like ish, but it's
Yeah.
like if you're problematic, like they will find someone else. Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy, dude. So you gotta bite your tongue, and it's like being in the military school basically, or becoming a cop or something. You gotta be this certain way that they want you to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's not far out, or it's not like I don't feel like I, am not me when I'm there, but it's kind of like, you're on someone else's, like you're an employee versus like with Castor, I'm like the boss, and one
Yeah.
is I'm the employee, and like they've set, how they want it to go. So you,
So is this
you
is
know,
this the record label that's doing this, or is this her agent?
it's a kind of mix of the whole thing. It's just kind of like it's a mix of, the management team, record label, her, the tour man, whatever. It's the or even like, so we're on tour with One Republic.
Uh-huh.
And we did all over Asia. I have some crazy stories about, we did a month in Asia, and we did a month in Eastern Europe, and then we did I guess a couple in Canada.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was just in Asia for a month. It was amazing. It was sick. um on planes like every day though. But yeah, we did like, yeah, Taipei, we did Tokyo, Bangkok, we
Was
did
it full? Was it sellout clouds?
pretty much, yeah. You're playing to like, 10,000 to 20,000 people every night,
Damn.
or like every night that you play, which is usually every other night. But yeah, it was kind of crazy. Like pretty much you play the show, you get off stage. It's nice because there's like catering, there's like amazing catering, there's like tons of stage crew. When we did it through Eastern Europe, they had a fleet of like 20 trucks,
No way.
because they travel with their own like chefs basically, or like a catering team.
Yeah. So when you go on tour at Casador, you're like, damn, that's
It
what
is not like that. Yeah, it is not
we
like
had
that.
this, we had this, we had this.
Yeah.
But honestly, this is what I'm going to come at now is, where do you see Casador in 20 years from now?
20 years from now. Okay, so my goal is always been like, I always want to have my own project where like I can kind of control, not like me exclusively, but I'm like a primary driver in, the creative outlook of the band, and like writing a song and like performing something that you feel attached to and that is like an expression of who you are is way more personally fulfilling.
Hmm.
Um, and that's I always want to be able to do that. And I do think that like what we have now is worthwhile for, you know, I don't know, like I if you don't feel like what you're doing is there's at least some value in it, then maybe
Hmm.
you should work on that. But like I always think that I can be better and everything, but I feel excited and proud about what's going on right now. And I just want to play as many shows as possible because this is kind of like how you start to make fans and connect with people.
Oh yeah,
So I think my goal is to be, established within the music world and be able to sustain a lifestyle that has, their fans that feel like what you're doing is meaningful and, just like excited to be part of the project and, feel like some kind of relevancy and yeah, I don't know, just kind of make a career out of it through playing original music and that I can connect with people and, help people through music.
and that's where you see yourself in see Casador in 20 years.
That's the goal, is to have an established, band and following and kind of system in place. That's the goal. I mean, things change literally all the time, like if you asked me 2 or 3 years ago, I'd probably say something else because music was entirely gone. But
Yeah.
that is, it's always been a core of myself to want to play music and create and be able to bring it to people and connect with them. Not only because I love doing it, but I love the effect that it has on other people.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I guess that's it's a bit of a vague answer, but
No, no, definitely no. That's just awesome because what I was coming to as is because you're doing these sessions with these other bands and stuff like that, and you got your project that you're doing. And do you feel like you doing these sessions is actually helping you out to grow your band to be where it needs to be?
yeah. So I mean, I think because as I was saying before, like the music's like scene is really not that big, and when like okay, so I go on tour with One Republic, for example, right? Opening
Mhm.
up for them. The sound guy for them also does sound for, let's say like Maroon 5 or a bunch of other bands or like bands that I would know, And then
Mhm.
so and then I talk to them on a day off. We get lunch together with Chad, and they like ask they're interested in me and like my band, and then be like, oh, I know a cool guy who owns a studio here. You guys should go check him out. And then we have this cool connection with the guy who owns a studio around here, or be like, oh, I'm working for a rock band. Like maybe the guitar tech for someone that I'm working for also works for like a cool rock band, and they're coming through Ontario, and they know me now, so they'd be like, yo, do you guys want to open for us or something like that?
Okay.
Or
So it's all
so
about
there are a
connections.
lot of connections. It's really all about connections, yeah. And getting into that world is very difficult, and I've been fortunate enough recently to kind of dip my toe into it, and you just meet so many people that are all like they're all doing crazy stuff, or like the body, like the head of security also did, not that this is really relevant to me, but it's more interesting. He was like the bodyguard for Britney Spears during her whole like
No way.
conservatorship thing, and yeah, like Justin Timberlake, whatever, like all that stuff. Um, or like the lighting guy was then jump into like Lady Gaga's tour to do lighting there. So it's like, and then afterwards you go out and get drinks and you're all just chatting about stuff. I'm like, oh, what are you doing? I'm going to tour with my band. They're like, oh, cool. Like I'll come see you play and I'll bring some of my like record label friends out to the show when you come through
That's
here.
right.
And there are people that like I would never have the audience with, or even the clout with, like
Mhm.
before. So it does kind of help like
No, definitely.
expand into personal things.
Yeah, no, it definitely does because I mean, what it helps you out because I think because the only way you're getting your foot in the door with anything skateboarding, surfing, music, acting, whatever is it's all about who you know and what you
Yeah,
know.
it
And
really
and
is.
if
Yeah.
if you have the connections, you know the people, and you're cool with them, you're not a douchebag with them or whatever, but they respect you for who you are. They're going to always remember who you are and show you the love.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Trying to make those connections is something that I say. I don't even know if I like really buy into this, but like
You don't
going
know.
out
Hold on, you don't
after
want to buy into this?
my like my own thing. I guess I have two things. One is like I say this more as like a douchey thing to get people to come out when they don't want to, but it's like I say that you can't get ahead by staying behind. So like, and I know sometimes you just gotta chill and like you need a mental health day, but like you never know who you're gonna meet when you go out somewhere, and like
True.
sometimes your life can change completely by just a conversation that you had with someone that led you somewhere else that brought you to a brand new place. And I think I don't know. That's kind of the mindset that I've adopted recently, where I just want to just be able to just like talk to anyone and be anywhere. Also, it's just interesting. Like I love hearing other people's stories and where they come from, and it's just I love it.
No, there's nothing
Um,
wrong with that. I mean, it's just that you just want to know people and know who they are and what they do, and if they're going to help you out in the long run, they're going to help you out in the long run. Prime example, you can, if you step out and you meet some dude that you're like didn't expect that dude's going to be a really cool dude and that knows people, and all of a sudden you guys start talking, and he's like, whoa, this dude's actually pretty cool. And then like next day he's like hits you up, yo, I hooked up, my homie owns Atlantic Records. I
yeah,
told him about you
exactly.
guys. You want to check you guys out. Where are you going to play at? You know what I mean? You get
Yeah,
what I'm
for
saying,
sure.
right?
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, I even got like a cool little sponsorship for like I get like like guitar strings for half off now, and like
What?
they're
Sick, dude.
expensive, or like
High
amps
five
and,
through
and stuff like
high
that.
five, high five through the mic, dude. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
thanks, dude. Yeah, for sure.
That's
Um,
right.
yeah, so there's just a whole bunch of things, and I just it's just fun. Like it's like one of the reasons I get into it in the first place is it's just fun. Like it's fun to be out and just also like learn from everyone else. Like even if I never see them again, it's just I like love meeting people from. Also, I love traveling too, and I've been like fortunate enough to be able to kind of travel a lot. Like there's so many places that I would have never gone if it wasn't for music.
Hmm.
Um, and just meeting people from different cultures and just absorbing parts of the world and learning from them and their story and everything. It's just I feel like it's what makes life interesting, and it just kind of I don't know ignites my passion for life. So
Hell yeah. And then you guys just dropped an album called Youth. Tell us about that.
yeah, so yeah, we got a brand new album out. It's exciting for us because this is the first time, yeah, like in like 4 years that we've actually released something, and it feels good because before we had a bunch of kind of rotating cast members of the band, but now we kind of have, I think, more like a refined vision, and we're all really tight knit. Um, and I'm just kind of I feel like it's a sustainable thing to start releasing a bunch more music with this group, and I feel like it feels good because I'm happy to have this as kind of like a baseline level to work off of. Um, and I think it just involves a lot of themes of, well, youth, I guess, more as a concept of that excitement for life and not necessarily losing that kind of curiosity that comes with youth.
Hmm.
Because over the pandemic, especially, I don't know like what really the deal was with you guys down there, especially in like California and stuff, but when you're just sitting at home for like a year and a half, it feels like you're losing time. Like life is a finite amount of time, and it's a fragile, precious thing, and when you feel like that time, which really is everything, is being taken away from you, and you're always the youngest that you are right now, and
Hmm.
when you lose that time, it feels like you are losing precious moments of your life and of your youthfulness. And I think it just kind of deals with the idea of like, sure, you may not be the same age that you once were, but you can still have that kind of passion for life, that curiosity for new things that comes with being youthful,
Hmm.
um, while still kind of looking back, appreciating what you had, but moving forward in a better way. So I feel like it's representative of kind of moving forward and where we are now. So it feels good to have it kind of be out in the world.
Yeah. And do you feel like most of these songs are about a little bit about your time
I
being,
think
I don't I
so.
don't I don't want to say locked up, but couldn't
Yeah, I
do
mean it was
anything.
literally called, yeah, lockdown, but I think, yeah. I mean, if they're not directly about that, I think they were at least influenced by how it made us feel, I guess.
Mhm.
or just
Hmm.
kind of some of the consequences of life that came out of it. Like I went through a big breakup and went through a new, like, a new place, and there's been a whole bunch of change in my life, and I can't really say that, the pandemic caused that, but I think it was, all kind of happened within the same time of like, learning to grow and just dealing with change and kind of the new things that come with it. So I would say they all kind of are touched on by that topic, but not necessarily strictly just about it.
And so that's what basically what changing is about. Is about what your lives have changed through this period of time.
Yeah, yeah, and that's also like, I think I at the age. I mean, it's not even necessarily my age. I feel like we always compare ourselves to our peers, and we kind of look around and see like, oh, they're getting married, they're having a kid, they're doing so well in their life, or they've gone in a certain direction, and it sometimes feels like I'm the same that I've always been, you know,
Mhm.
and I'm not moving at the same pace that they are. It makes me feel weird, but this is just who I am. Um, so,
Yeah, yeah. And then the song I like is "Younger Days." I like that
oh
song.
yeah, oh thanks. Yeah, I like that one too. Yeah, it's very nostalgic,
Yeah,
kind
tell
of
us about
like
that.
that one. When I write songs, it is like we do a lot of it in kind of like group setting, but also I feel like when you're the singer of something, if you have to like be the speaker of the words, you really want to be able to connect with it. So a lot of it I do at least kind of like, I don't know. I feel like you kind of have to have like the final say if you're going to be saying the words. I don't know. It's sort of a new thing that I've been kind of not dealing with, but I wasn't always the lead singer before, and it's
Hmm.
something that I never really considered. Is like, if you get up there and you are saying things that like you do not feel or like align with at all, it's really weird. Because when people like look at you saying those words, they attach them to you, and you want to be able to connect with them. Anyway, but so I like to kind of just write stories about something that's maybe fictional, but that I can relate to in one way or another, or it has kind of concepts that are relatable. So it was about, meeting up with someone in your life that was maybe an old flame years
Hmm.
later, that kind of took up a special point in your life but didn't work out for one reason or another, and reminiscing on those times that you used to have, while kind of recognizing where you are now. Yeah.
No, it's a definitely good song, man. I do get it what you're saying about it. It's just like you said, old fling of yours from back in the days, and you're just going back in your mind. You're like, damn, I remember those days with her, or that days with him, or whatever, and stuff. Yeah, definitely, it's definitely a great album, and I will tell you that for sure, man. And
Oh,
people
thanks.
definitely need to pick it up and jam out to it because it's definitely really good. And where can people get your album? Is it like, do you have a website, certain platforms or
Yeah,
whatever?
it's all over. It's on, yeah, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, really anywhere you get the music. It's on YouTube as well, Apple Music, everywhere. We do have a website, casadorband.com.
Okay.
If you want to check it out, we have some, merch you can buy, or just check out anything like pictures or videos. We're just released a new video today actually
Oh,
for
really? What's it called?
it's called Quit Your Crying.
Quit You Crying. Okay, that's off
Yeah.
the new album.
It's off the album, yeah. Um
Sick. I
it's a
can't
cool
wait to see
video.
it.
Yeah, it's like Wes Anderson-y. It's,
Really?
yeah, there's this
Tell me
really
about it.
dope. Okay, so yeah, the idea of that song is basically, it's not the most sympathetic one, but it kind of like illustrates sort of a relationship between two people kind of breaking down. And you know how it's like, if something bothered you at some point, then maybe you act out just because you're bothered, and then that becomes another thing that they can kind of pick at you for, that you acted out in this way, and it kind of becomes like circular arguments, and just you kind of lose the plot and forget what you're angry about, and then you can lose your cool, and it's just kind of thinking about, here are all the things that are going bad, and like, let's just put all that to rest and just kind of move forward, because when things were working out best between us, we didn't worry about all the little things, and we just kind of loved each other because of who we are deep down, and not all these little bumps that have been exacerbated into larger issues.
Hmm.
um and so we wanted to make a video that kind of illustrated that, but it wasn't like a super obvious relation between two people. So we had it's like these two dudes who are roommates, probably in their like 50s, 60s, and they have really opposing lifestyles. Like one's really dirty and one's really clean, and they've taped the room down the middle, like each side is theirs kind of thing. One's super clean and one's super dirty, and just kind of how they come to blows and have it out for each other, and then one kicks the other out, and it becomes this whole thing of like we weren't able to kind of make it work as like long-standing friends because of all this buildup of issues that we had. And then at the end, it's kind of you realize that you needed that almost instability in your life because it kind of matches with your, or it balances you out, and then they end up being pals again. But it's a cool video. I think the filmmakers who made it did a really good job. And that's another thing about the Canada. I would never be able to afford that video if it wasn't for some help for sure from
So
like
you hear that?
grants.
You hear that, you upcoming musicians, go move to Canada. They'll take care of you.
Yeah, move to Canada and apply for grants and get tens of thousands of dollars for free.
Exactly, and you'll live your dream basically.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so bad. And then before we take off, do you have what else you guys got coming up for 2023? Any tours or new singles? You just said you just dropped a video.
Yeah, so we just we put the new album like was it this month? Recently. I don't even remember anymore. God.
You've been busy, right?
I know. So there's a lot going on. But yeah, we just dropped a new album. We have a bunch of videos that are out. We have a couple more new songs that we've been recording. So hopefully those will come out kind of early fall, and we have a bunch of like shows coming up, and basically, just kind of keep it rolling. Just trying to get our name out there, and make a bit of a statement. So we might be touring through the States at some point too.
Oh yeah, come out to San Diego, man. We'll definitely
That'd be sick. Sick. Yeah, the visas to tour in the States are like crazy expensive right now, but
really.
Yeah, because you have to be part of there's like a Canadian Music Foundation called CFM, I think. And then you have to be in that to then join the American one. And that costs like a bunch of hundreds of dollars every year that you have to reapply for. You have to be part of the union, and then you have to get a visa, which is like thousands of dollars, just to be able to play there. Dude, and if you don't have a visa, then you can get banned from entering the States for 5 years. Which is happened to a couple people. Yeah.
Dude, that sucks.
It's really, really expensive to get to play in the States.
I would just say just cross the border and just jump over to Seattle and New York, and there you go.
Yeah, we tried that. Is actually they know things though. Like I probably shouldn't advertise it. Yeah, I shouldn't say this. It's like super legal.
All right. I don't want to get in trouble, man. Yeah. I don't get in trouble. Well, before we take off, man, what can you say to the upcoming musicians that want to be where you guys are at right
now? Well, I think it sounds kind of cliche, I guess, but like you can't expect success overnight. And the only people that make it are the people that didn't give up. And you in theory, you're doing this because you love it, and never forget that this is what you're doing because you love to do. And if you love to do it, it will bring you fulfillment either way. And when you keep working on it, like you will find your place, and you will start to see that success roll in as long as you never give up.
That's 100% true, man. Never give up on your dreams and what you love, man. Because if
you will always regret it.
Yep, I was about to say that you'll regret it and wish that you never did that. And 20 years later, you'll be like, "Fuck, I'm gonna try to do it again," and it doesn't work.
Yeah. It
doesn't work. Sure. Well, Cam, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. And like I said, your new album, Youth, is really good. It's saved on my
awesome.
Saved in my alternative music section. So I have a hip hop alternative, and then I have like what else? Oh, reggae. So those are my three little my track things. So anything that I like, I always save in my alternative. But you guys are definitely in my alternative. I like it a lot.
Cool. Well, yeah, Tommie, thanks so much, man. I really appreciate you having me on. It was great to talk to you, and I would next time I'm in your world, I'll send you a message for sure. You're on Instagram? I'll find you.
Yeah. I'll tag you on the post. Well, once this drops, I'll tag you everything.
Okay, awesome.
All right,
Sick.
Cam. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. Wish you the best of luck in 2023. And hey, just don't get in trouble crossing the border. All right.
Yeah, I will do my best this time.
All right, man. I'll talk to you
Cool,
guys
yeah.
soon.
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Yeah, have a great rest of your night.
All right.
Later.